The struggles on the defensive end continue to be a glaring issue for the Toronto Raptors. But before we get into this stuff, the confusion about where this team is headed continues. We hear reports, earlier today and late last night, well, the Raptors are possibly pursuing Jakob Poeltl, with the Boston Celtics, and we're like, okay, going to the Spurs for Jakob. We need a center, great. But does that mean we're buying? And if that's the case, they're going to want picks. Is that what we're willing to give up? No. Then we hear that teams are pursuing Fred VanVleet. We're like, so are you trading dudes away? Are you, what's going on here? So very sizable amount of confusion going on heading into tonight's game for the Raptors. And going into it, obviously the second night of a back-to-back, but they are as well. Raptors had to travel. They did not. However, they do not have Giannis in the game today. So no Giannis, obviously no Chris Middleton for them. Any other key names out? Nope, nothing really crazy as I'm seeing there. But Drew Holiday was obviously the big piece in this game, and he was electric. But the Raptors defensively were just not good enough. And we could sit here and break down play after play after play, and when it came to the late parts of the fourth quarter, they looked exhausted. And it showed in the score. They came out flying offensively. Fred VanVleet making big shots, Gary drilling threes, Scotty pounding the paint against Brook Lopez, which we did not see in the early parts of the game against Milwaukee and Toronto. So that was great to see. However, you allow 44 points in the first quarter. That's asking for trouble. You're somehow only down 10. You score 34 in the first frame. But you're still down 10 after one quarter of play. In the second quarter, man, they start missing shots. The Raptors can't miss. They drop a 40-piece. They've scored 74 in the quarter. Right, 74? Yeah, 73, excuse me. Nope, 74. 74 in the quarter, in the half, excuse me. And the Raptors have a lead at the break. They're feeling fantastic. They're making shots. They're getting stops. They win that quarter by 17. Brilliant shot. However, we always hear second night of a back-to-back, you have to travel. The Raptors did just play a crazy overtime game last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess, against the New York Knicks. So the second half's going to be a little scary, and in that third quarter, yeah, that's where the Raptors defensively are all over the place. They can't make plays. They can't miss, whether it's Drew Holiday. I think it was 4 of their 5 starters drilled at least 3 threes in the game. Brook Lopez had 3 of 5 before he got kicked out. Grayson Allen had 4. Drew Holiday had 5. Pat Connaughton had 3. And Bobby Portis was 0-4 from 3. That was the other guy who started that didn't hit that mark. So they were knocking down their threes. They end the game with 19 of them. The Raptors knocked down 13. So do the math. -6 there, minus 18-point differential. That's painful. But defensively, the Raptors just were not good enough. Whether they were just attacking, doubling Joe Ingles. I love Joe Ingles. Great shooter. Smart player. But what? I don't know. They just looked all over the place tonight on the defensive end. And let's be honest, Raptor fans, that's been the story all year long. We talk about this Raptor squad and where were they last year? Why were they so good last year? This is basically the same team. It's their defense. The shooting really hasn't changed, at least from the eye test. I haven't looked at the stats or numbers or anything. And by the way, 25-25 in the fourth quarter and you lose by 8, 130, 122. I mean, we're not even getting into that. The Raptors' defensive struggles this season have been very prominent. And they started the year very well. That's why they're only middle of the pack on the defensive rating. But I'd say over the stretch of is the team tanking over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks or so, it's plummeted. On the road, both teams second night of a back-to-back, they do not have their best player and one of the best players in basketball in Giannis. They don't have one of their best players in Chris Middleton, and yet they drop 130 on your head today. There's nothing else to say. Now, yesterday, a little bit of a different story, right? It's an overtime frame, but again, you still allow 121. But that I can understand. We can just go back and forth, right? You allow 114 to the Hawks, which is just not good enough, really. And you only score 103. You allow 114 to the Hornets. We know all the Hornets games where you won, but you were still defensively not very good. The defense has not been great. OG was not great tonight on both ends of the ball. Somehow he's a +2 in the game, but overall, I didn't think he had a very good game. Offensively, he royally struggled. And, you know what? If people are going to talk about offense numbers, you dropped 122. You should win a ball game after scoring 122. But you allow 130 and you lose. Pascal, I'm shocked he only took 13 shots in the game. 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 8 of 13. 13 shots. The free throw line, he wasn't good there. 6 of 11. He was just over 50% from the free throw line. That can't have. That's 5 misses from the line. You lost by 8. That's a big number right there. Let's say you knock down 3 of those, right? And you're 9 of 11 from the free throw line, which is kind of a normal number for him. You're only down 5. We can go to Scotty's numbers where he was 2 of 5. Let's say he goes 4 of 5. Where you should be. And we're talking about a total different ball game. Pascal was 1 of 4 from 3. He was a -17 in the floor. Your best players tonight, in Pascal and Fred, in general, your best players, were your worst plus-minus guys. Pascal was a -17. Fred VanVleet was a -23. But I can't get mad at Fred because this dude put the team on his back and made some big-time plays. Gary, I thought he was phenomenal. Would have loved to see him shoot more. 28 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists on 10 of 19 shooting, 4 of 4 from the line, 4 of 9 from 3, and had 4 steals in the game. I thought Gary he looked great on the offensive end, but defensively, collectively, they weren't good enough. So I can't talk about his defensive numbers. OG, like I mentioned, wasn't great. The team wasn't great defensively, which means your best player wasn't great defensively as well, and I didn't think OG played very well at all tonight. 5 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists, shot 2 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line, 0 of 4 from 3-point range. Just not great. Not great at all. We've talked about it with OG, right? What have we said, Raptor fans? Knock down threes, give me good defense, and if you get to the free throw line, make your freebies. Well, he was 1 of 2 from the line, so 50% from the free throw line. He didn't make a 3, he was 0 of 4. And defensively, I didn't think OG was good enough tonight. He didn't give you what you needed. And Fred, look, in the first half, he was flat out dominant. And you could see in the second half, at least defensively, that he was getting tired. His closeouts and Grayson Allen. You were already there. You didn't need to get right up and tight. Foul him taking a 3, right? Stuff like that just makes you want to pull your hair out a bit. But 39, 9, and 7 on 15 of 28 shooting. So over 50% from the field. Perfect from the line, 3 of 3. Was 50% from 3, 6 of 12. It's somehow a -23 on the floor. He gave you everything. It wasn't Fred's fault tonight. But again, it was pretty rough overall. Scotty Barnes, I loved the effort tonight. The effort to get in the paint, battle with Brook Lopez. And he wasn't the only one to battle Brook Lopez tonight. 14 points for Scotty, 13 boards, 5 dimes, shot 6 of 15 there, was 2 of 5 from the free throw line and 0 of 3 from 3. So the shooting numbers aren't great, but again, this dude did a lot of other things. Obviously 13 rebounds, had 3 steals and a block. Loved that part of the game, but again, you need these guys, like we talked about it with their team. What did they do? They knocked down the 3. They had 4 of their 5 dudes knocking down 3 or more threes. So anybody you drive, Raptors try and double Joe Ingles, kick it to a guy, good chance they're going to knock it down. Where the Raptors, if it's not Gary or Fred catching and shooting a 3 today, which both guys were trying to create offense, more in particular Fred. So if it's not a catch and shoot, or if it's not a late shot clock shot, or I guess end of the quarter or end of the half shot, it's struggling. Scotty, 0 of 3. OG, 0 of 4. Pascal, 1 of 4. Those are your other 3 guys. They combined 1 of 11 from 3. It's just not good. Precious, off the bench. Do not look at his shooting percentage and say he had a bad night. Because if you watch the game, I think he made a huge impact. 11.7 boards. Shot 4 of 10 from the field, but it was like, 3 or 4 tip-ins that he couldn't miss in that one possession, which was wild. 1 of 2 from the line, knocked down 2 threes. He was 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. But defensively, they were all not good. So I'm not going to sit here and break down each player defensively. I don't have the time to do that. They just weren't good enough. Team stats, we shot 46% from the field. And they shot 54% from the field. The Raptors, let me check this out, because I think I looked at the stat earlier and it was pretty glaring. The Raptors took 15 more shots than the Milwaukee Bucks. They made the exact same amount. They made 46 field goals. We made 46 field goals. They took 15 less shots. That's tough. And we talked about the three-point shooting. They knocked down 19 to our 13. 6 made 3 differential. It's an 18-point swing. That's tough. They made 2 more free throw attempts. They made 2 more free throws than the Raptors did. We took 6 more attempts. That's from the free throw line. The Raptors missed 10 free throws today. They were 17 for 27. 63%, where they were 19 of 21 for 90% from the free throw line. It's just not good enough, guys. And he dominated the glass. Great. +8 on the glass, +14 on the offensive boards. Albeit a few of those are probably Precious to tipping him up to himself. And you're only 12-8 in second chance points. The Raptors had 20 offensive rebounds. 20, leading to only 12 points. Albeit, thanks Precious for that. But again, you got to capitalize on extra opportunities. Good teams do. The Raptors did not do that tonight. And again, this is all without Giannis. So I had to put that out there as well. You had 3 guys in 20+. Fred had almost 40. Gary had almost 30. And Pascal had 23, 9 and 3. Again, still don't know why he only took 13 shots. But it is what it is. And the question mark of the direction of this team is still looming. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. The smart move is to move on from guys who are on expiring deals. We have fallen in love with Fred over the years. I get it. We've fallen in love with Gary since the Norm trade, how he embraced the city in Tampa. Couldn't wait to come back here. I mean, we haven't heard much of that since he's come back. But again, either way, he's been phenomenal recently for the Raptors, putting up crazy numbers, right? At 28 again today on great shooting numbers. But it's time to turn a page. This generation, I'm not saying, for these 2 guys, it's definitely come to an end. But from this regime of making the playoffs every year and finding ways, it's great. But I don't want to fly into, I don't want to get into a play-in seed or slide into the 6 seed, which is not going to happen. But slide in there and get slaughtered in the first round. Like, no thanks. Why do we all play sports? If you've ever played a sport, why do you play? To win, right? You play to win. Why do you go to the playoffs, and why are playoff games more important? Because it's a chance to win a championship. Like that. Is this team, as constructed right now, are they one piece away from being a championship team? No. They are not. So we've got to do something about it. Whether that's trading Fred and Gary, whether it's trading Gary and re-signing Fred, like even then, I don't know if that's what you want to do. So I'll leave that with you guys, all right? So you know what, guys? The next game for the Raptors is on Thursday as they are in Minnesota taking on the T-Wolves. I believe this is starting now, a West Coast swing, yippee. 8 p.m. tip-off there between the Raptors and the Minnesota Timberwolves, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, and parts of the game because it was entertaining, but not the result. Smack that like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game for the Toronto Raptors? The Twitter and Instagram links are down in the description, so follow up, send me a DM to like great stuff. The Discord link is down below as well, so join up the Discord chat down below. Whether you're a Leaf fan, Raptor fan, Jays fan, go do so. And I will talk to you guys Leaf Station very shortly as they came back and beat the Florida Panthers 5-4 in overtime to get back into their winning ways after a couple regulation losses. And as for the Raptors, as we talked about, they are back in action on Thursday as they are in Minnesota taking on the T-Wolves. 8 p.m. tip-off there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and parts of the game today. We'll talk to you guys then.